Welcome to medieval Eastern Europe, where to this day, things like glorious castles and arbor knights still exist. I really appreciate that they preserve and take so much pride in their history. I apologize to my Eastern European homies out there, I'm only joking. We play as Henry, and we're on a very important mission of delivering a message to the king. It's imperative that we succeed, so we decide to set up camp in a place that can be ambushed from multiple angles. I'm sure that won't be a problem later. Meet my dog Mutt. He'll probably become more important later, but I haven't played that far yet when I'm editing this, so who knows. I talked to some old guy in my company, and he says he'll feed Mutt if I can get him his ring back. Classic RPG, just throwing fetch quests at me the first chance it gets. I talked to the guy who has the ring, and he wants me to gamble for it. Finally, the real gameplay is starting. I try to learn the rules, but I'm stupid, so it takes a while. I'm sure I'll get better at it as I go along. I use this move on him, which embarrasses and completely demoralizes him as I show my utter dominance over the poor guy. I bring the ring back to the geezer, and he lets me feed my dog. Next up on the agenda is to fight my boss, which I know sounds like a wet dream to a lot of you. I proceed to absolutely beat him black and blue, and as a reward I get to skinny dip with him, a kingly gift. Capon then hears some girls on nearby and decides to creepily sneak towards them. Boys will be boys. We find the ladies and holy shit! Anyway, we turn around and all our friends are being brutally murdered. So like the brave knights we are, we decide to swim away. Capon decides now is the time to take a casual stroll through the woods. Even though I'm gravely injured, and after having taken an arrow in the shoulder, I fight some guy and fall like 10 meters. Lucky I had the other guy's soft metal armor to break my fall. Henry trips balls while walking through the woods. But eventually we make it to a cabin in the woods. There we meet a woman who wants me to do some menial tasks around the homestead. Just small tasks really, like picking herbs and burying a body. When I return, there's some goons waiting for me, and I accidentally fail the speed check. After I beat the crap out of them, they tried to escape, which I obviously can't allow. After a bunch more tutorial stuff, Henry and Capon have left the cabin and gone to the city, where Capon is swiftly drenched in shit. They naturally decide to head to the nearest bar right after this. Here, Henry spots one of the women from the lake and decides to go talk to her. This goes about as good as you can imagine when you smell like a newly used sewer and tell a woman that you spied on her from a distance. She's playing hard to get, so I tell her she's acting crazy. Anyway, after having failed that, I go talk to some local patrons about how I can get into the city. This guy tells me I can gamble my way in. I obviously accept. At this point, I have already forgotten the rules, and this fucking guy does this and squashes me in his first turn, and the game is over on his next one. So yeah, not my best game. You have to lose some to win some. Me and Capon decide to start a cool bar fight, because that is sure to impress the locals. I mean, they were like 10 guys, so all in all, I say that went pretty well. However, Capon does not agree with me, so he's like, see ya, you can find me dead in a ditch later. Now that I'm free to explore, I go to see what my gambling prospects look like in this town. But it's not looking good. So the only thing for it is to go find a new town so I can start earning lots of money. I find these guys, and my inner stealth archer comes out immediately. However, since this is not Skyrim, I'm swiftly dealt with. I find this woman alone in the forest, and I begin full sprinting towards her so that I can more quickly tell her I'm not a threat. Turns out she needs saving from some wolves, and like the hero I am, I help her. After I deal with the wolves, I make sure she's okay before continuing my journey, expecting nothing in return, because real heroes never do. I keep going in search of a town to do some gambling, because right now I'm so excited to gamble, I'm literally shaking. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, or I will kill this guy, steal all his gear, and dump him in the river. Thank you. I meet the old woman again, and I ask about my dog that I totally didn't forget about. She doesn't really tell me anything though, so I keep going, because maybe I'll find a town along the way. Eventually, I stumble into a village, and I find this fine fella, who agrees to play with me. And playing me he does. He won once, and twice, 3 times, then I ran out of money, and had to sell some things, returning to the table afterwards, because I'm no quitter. I quit after the 4th and 5th loss, and I bid him good night. Just kidding, I follow him up to his room, strangle him in his sleep, proceed to steal all his, now my things, then I book a room, and sleep like a baby. The next day I see the same guy, and he doesn't acknowledge me, probably because he recognizes me as the superior dice player. I then go and talk to the barkeep, asking about my dog. He then proceeds to never shut up about things I don't really care about, as I just want to know where the nearest gambling opponent is. As I'm walking through the woods, I find this place where someone has been looking at the women washing clothes. This reminds me of something we have in Sweden called forest porn, was popular before the internet. It was basically just a nudie mag that someone had hid in the woods, usually accompanied with a couple of these bad boys. All this to say that I'm guessing this is how it was done before the printing press. I get attacked by some wolves and wander into a new town, severely injured, ready to try out my new dice I found earlier. Instead of taking care of my injuries, because I don't know how to, I decide to drip myself out, also with things I found earlier. Then I talk to the local blacksmith and he teaches me to make cool swords, perhaps opening up ways of acquiring gambling money. After I made my first sword, I go looking for a place to sleep, because that's how you heal injuries. I go to sleep and wake up in the middle of the night, completely messing up my sleep schedule, which is very realistic. Having nothing better to do, I decide to crank out a couple more swords that I can sell, and naturally, they're absolutely perfect. I try to go back to sleep, but I find a random woman laying in my bed, and to many people this would maybe be seen as a welcome surprise, but I just want to go to sleep. This is when I realized that my room was actually around the corner, which means that the blacksmith had this spare room standing empty, and the helper still had to sleep on the floor. Lucky me. However, I can't sleep just yet, and so I go have a chat with the blacksmith right after having a sip of their stew. He then tells me that some of his helpers have disappeared with a cart full of supplies, and wants me to go look for them. I then find the same bandits from before, but this time I have the darkness on my side, so I shoot a strategically placed arrow and definitely did not miss. Then I run away. This proved to be the right choice though, because I found some treasure that's worth a lot of dice throws. I walk until the morning, and then I find this random man asleep under a bridge. I talk to him and he tells me he has things for sale, so he goes back to sleep. As I'm walking towards the blacksmith's helpers, I almost walk past this abandoned barn, but decide to investigate. When I approach, however, I get a call from inside to go away, and it turns out there's a homeless guy inside. So like an American cop seeing a black man, I take this as a threat and I kill him. Looting him, turns out he had most of his possessions on him, because his house was empty, but he did have this valuable ring. When entering the town that the helpers are supposed to be at, I'm greeted by this guy, who tries to starship with Henry, but Henry, being completely sober, indulges him. I then beat him without taking a single hit, of course. Our fight is interrupted by an old man who tells the drunkard to piss off and tells me to follow him. It's funny how in the first town you start a bar fight and get put in the stocks, but in this one you beat up a drunk and get a job offer. The old man introduces me to an even older man, who's in charge of the town. I tell him I'm here to find the delivery guys, and they tell me they haven't seen them. Also, don't you just love when games make you just faster than the NPC's walking speed? And it gets even better when they force you to walk behind them in a narrow corridor and stops every few steps. I overtake the relics the first chance I get. We're walking out because we have decided to ride out and find the delivery guys, but I'm told I'll have to buy a horse or follow on foot, which is a bit rude. I head over to the horse guy, and it turns out he's just bought my old horse. I proceed to swindle him so he'll give it to me for free. But is it really swindling when it already is my horse? That's like having your bike stolen and then seeing it later on the street, so you steal it back. Although interesting, I don't have time to ponder on these philosophical questions now, as the old guys are about to leave without me. After a while, I am challenged to a duel by the town's owner, so I'll just beat him real quick and we can continue. Fuck, shit, hey, fuck, shit, what the, fuck, oh, fuck, shit. Anyway, close fight. We continue riding towards the town, and it turns out to be the very first one. I'm sure I'll be welcomed back with open arms. I'm told to go and speak to the bailiff about the missing delivery boys, so naturally, I head to the dice table instead. I place a maximum bet of 50 groschen, because surely I will win this time. And to my surprise, I actually do win. Fair and square, no strangulation required. Also, the fossils decided to leave me during the game. Some people just have no appreciation for art. I decide to celebrate by buying a drink, but discovered that during our game, a whole bar fight broke out. Seems drunk people just get into a fighting mood whenever I'm around, but never mind that, as I return to the table, because I gotta keep playing. This time, however, I lose. But no big deal, because I can just play again. So, I play 2 more times and win both. Which just means I have made a nice profit of 100 groschen. Very impressive. After I win my last game, I notice that the bailiff has joined us and is rooting for me. Crazy what kind of opportunities just land in your lap when gambling, so I try and talk to him about the delivery guys, but he's not interested. So when he's done talking, I say cool, then I leave. Finally, I try to buy that drink again, but the bar lady just gives me work instead. Like, does she even realize who she's talking to? I'm basically nobility. Then I managed to buy a drink and also sell some loot I found earlier, netting me a nice sum of cash. So now that Henry is basically a billionaire, I guess there's nothing more to do. So thanks for watching and see you later.